Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura or lauraxstitches and it's been a while. It's been almost a year since I came back to you with an update, a Flosstube video. So welcome back and welcome if you happen to stumble across my channel and you're a new viewer, so welcome. I'm going to go over a few different things today. I've got some finishes, new starts, the smaller smidgen of hauls, some whips, plans, other craft stuff, a bit of life stuff. I've got a touch of everything today, so I hope you enjoy. I will go over where I've been, not that it's very interesting and won't take very long, but I guess I thought I'd start off with a quick little about me for those who have been here for a while and you don't remember who I am, or if you're a new viewer. So I'm Laura. lauraxstitches is what I go by on YouTube and over on Instagram. I live in Victoria, Australia. I have been stitching since 2016, on and off. Every now and again I just like don't stitch for a while and I come back, but 2016, learnt when I was a lot younger, came back to it in 2016. I have a wonderful husband named Matt. I have a almost 2-year-old named Lily. Last time I was here was, I think she just turned 1, so we're almost a year gone again. But yeah, that's the main things to know about me. So what I like to do in my videos is I do everything in sections, so I've got them time stamped in the description. So if you want to skip to a bit that you're interested in, you're more than welcome to do that. They'll all be below in the description for you to jump across. So I'm going to start with where I've been and then I'll move into some finishes and then whips and go from there. So like I said, I was last here, I think it was just after the Vic Stitches retreat, which was at the end of May. So I think it was early June, somewhere around there. And haven't been back since. So what's been going on? I have changed jobs. So if you didn't know, I was a primary school teacher and I decided in August to switch it up a bit. So I now work in administration for early childhood. And I really like it. I really like my job. It has relieved a lot of stress and anxiety, I suppose, in my life. So that's been really good. So yeah, that's been the biggest change that has happened, I suppose, since you saw me last. So that's great. Loving it. I turned 30 last week. So my birthday was last Friday and I turned 30, which was cool. I had a great weekend. It was so fun. So that's been great. Lily's doing really well. She's being a toddler herself. So toddler life is interesting, but we're coping. We're getting there. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. There's no big reason why I haven't really been back. I think the changing jobs was a big thing, and then I didn't really stitch much in the second half of last year, and then at the start of this year I got back into it, so that I think has really helped. I feel like I have more time and energy to put towards my crafting life, which is really fun. What got me back into stitching this time? Well, it's mainly the Fandom Stitching Central group on Facebook. They're doing Lord of the Rings this year, and my good friend, my stitching bestie Adele, she's one of the leaders in the Dwarves team, which is my team, and she kind of, I don't know if she meant to do it, but she like kind of made me start doing it, and I really like it, so that's going very well. I suppose that's about it really for where I've been in life and stuff. So I think I'll just move into what I've been up to. So since you've seen me last, I have had some finishes. It looks like, based on my notes, I had some in June, and then since then I've had some more come through. One of them I don't have with me. It's on my desk at work, but I'll try and remember to put a picture in when we get to that one. So my first finish since last time was Evening in the Shire. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, by Cute Patterns by Maria on Etsy. I stitched this on a piece of 32 count Lugana called After the Rain, and that's dyed by Colour Cascade Fabrics over in Perth, and I finished it on the 10th of June. So this is that piece. It is pretty full on backstitch. There is some cross stitch and some half stitch involved, particularly where you see the yellow. There's some black and some grey over here for the sky, but it's mainly backstitch, and it's in 1, 2 or 3 strands. I found that I had to be able to count. You can't really do this without being in that kind of mood. So if you can't be bothered counting, don't stitch on this one. I really like how this looks. The little rabbits in there over here, you can see it. Just hiding in there. It's my favourite part of the piece. So yeah, very happy with that. I stitched this with Deb Wilson, who's Debbie Wilson in Flosstube is what I'm trying to say. She makes great videos, so go and have a look at all of her beautiful whips. So yes, that was the first finish I had after my last video. Heaps and heaps of fabric left on this, so I can always put something else on there. I have a few pieces like that. I was just going through my bit where I hang up my finishes as they're waiting to be fully finished, and I noticed I had quite a few little things on big pieces of fabric. So I do have some room, some extra pieces. I think the next one I had is the one that's at work. So this is Koality Day by Geeky Stitching Co. I finished it on the 13th, so a few days later of June last year. I used all the kit supplies, which included the green Aida that you can see it on. It's stitched in DMC. The Aida was really soft and lovely to work with. That kit was released as a fundraiser for the bushfires that hit Australia in it was over New Year's, so 2019 into 2020, and a lot of designers and things created fundraisers for, particularly for Wildlife Victoria and other wildlife organisations, because it was obviously quite devastating for those animals, their habitats, their lives. So that was cool. I got a few of those, and there's another one coming up actually, just to do a little bit to support people. The next one is, I think, no, it is the other Fires one actually. This is With Love by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was their pattern, another koala, and this has some wattle around the outside, and I'm guessing these are either wattle leaves or gum leaves. So that was really cute. I started that on the day I finished Koality Day, which is the 13th of June, and I finished it on the 12th of January. Obviously, it didn't take me that long to stitch it, I just didn't stitch. This is on a piece of 36 count linen that I dyed myself in this nice green colour. This also has, it was a small piece, but it's got some room left on it. So there's that one. I have a scrapbook that I've had for ages that I'm wanting to put some smalls in that I don't really need, like framed or anything or made into stuff. I think that'll be one of them. The next finish I had was my temperature tree. This is by Stitching Mummy. I finished it on the 16th of January this year. It's stitched on a 28 count, I think it's a Jovelin, by Pole Stitches called Awakening. And you can kind of see the colour of the fabric there. It's like got a whole bunch of colours, a lot of yellow and pink and bluey colours, purpley colours. So that's the temperature tree. So a couple of things about this. I stitched it 1/1. I did that because Sarah the Stitcher Mummy loves a bit of tiny stitching, and so I don't know if you can see there, but they're tiny little stitches. I stitched the trunk and the branches in Gentle Arts Brown Bear, so there is a bit of variegation there that you can see that I really like. I also added a little bit of text. This tree represents Lily's first year of life, so the temperatures I got were from her the day that she was born all the way up until the day before her first birthday. So I didn't do it January to January or January to December of a year. I did it from, yeah, that that year instead. So down the bottom I found some text and put Lily's first year, and that's in a Silks For You something or other. I'm not sure. No, sorry, I think it's a Mose silk. I'm not sure what it's called though. Lovely. And her birthday is here, stitched, sorry, back stitched in that Gentle Arts thread. I was going to change it to something else, but I kind of like how it is, so that's really cool. I will get that framed or frame it myself and pop it up in her room, or maybe in the hallway just outside her room, somewhere around there. But it's a nice, because I did it 1/1, it's nice and small, so it's not going to take up heaps and heaps of room. So there's that one. And the last proper finish, and I'll explain that when we get into WIPs, that I've had since I've seen you last was one that I started on the 13th of January, so the day after I finished the Little Frosted Pumpkin Koala, and I finished it on the 7th of February. This is Blue Wren by DMC in collaboration with Leslie Suzanne Designs. She has a whole, I think it's a she, that artist has a whole range of designs with DMC, particularly with birds and Australian fauna. So this is the Blue Wren. Of course, the blue pretty one is the male. This is the female. I still think they're cute. They're gorgeous little birds. There's heaps of them around on my parents' property. They're very, very skittish and quick, but Matt's taking quite a few photos of them. They're very, very cute. So I have stitched another one of these in this series. That was the Crimson Rosella. I think I did that. I finished it on New Year's Eve 2021, I think. So Matt gave me a bunch of these for my birthday in 2021. Oh no, sorry, for Christmas in 2021. So there are 4 that he gave me that are like this design, but 4 different birds. I'm going to stitch those 4 and frame them together. And then there's one other that's with another range. I'll get the rest of that range and do the same thing. But yeah, there's the Blue Reds. And that's just stitched with all of the called for kit fabric and floss supplies, all that kind of stuff. Very cool. So there's some finishes that I've had, and I suppose now I'll go into my WIPs. For those that don't know, if you're new here, the way that I do my WIPs is that I organize them into size. They're my categories. So I had a bunch of WIPs at one point in my life, and then I slowly worked on them. First thing what I did was I put them into categories, and then I worked on the oldest WIP in each category until I got to the point where I only had 1 in each. That took me a fair bit of time, but here we are. So at the moment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I have 7 categories. Usually I only have 6, but this year's a little bit different. So my first category is full coverage. Now, technically I do have another full coverage, but I'm ignoring that for now. It'll get worked on after this one is finished. So my full coverage is Mini Clockwork Dragonling, artwork by Jasmine Beckett Griffith, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. There's a mini that I started on the 21st of November 2017. Actually, that was a restart because I originally started this, I think, in 2016, and I did it 2/1 full cross, and it was really bulky on 25 count, and I did a page and I couldn't do it anymore. So I scrapped it, then I restarted it. So yes, it's on 25 count, easy count, even weave. And here's where it is now. Hopefully I've got pictures of last time, because there's been a bit of progress made on this one. So the way I work my full coverages is the typewriter method, and if you don't know what that is, Sarah the Stitcher Mummy talks about it a fair bit. But it's left to right, top to bottom. So I pick the upmost symbol from the left that's needing to be done. I do a thread of that colour, like I do run out of my thread pretty much on that colour, and then I go to the next symbol and do that thread. It works really well for me. I find it's great because I can see the picture coming down as I go along. It's a bit of variety. I'm not doing the same colour all the time. Now, this doesn't fit. My biggest Q-snap that I like to use is an 11 by 11, and the whole lot doesn't fit across. So what I would do is, let's say I was working on this side, I would just focus on whatever I can see in the Q-snap. I'm not going to take it out and move it across. It's just whatever I can see, and then next time I work on this part, for example. So we've got a lot of the sky in at the back. The first butterfly is almost finished. There's just a little bit at the bottom of it. Here's the second one. I don't think you can see the next one just yet. The bit that I'm really excited about is that this is her helmet, and these are her goggles that are sitting on top of her helmet, and I really like the colours that are in those. It's nice and bright. So really happy with that. I haven't worked on this in a fair bit. I don't think I picked it up in February at all. I've got some other focuses this year. This is not one of them. This will probably be more of a focus next year. But it comes out when needed. I do very much like working on it though. I like working with one strand. I find it nice and easy. For anyone that would like to know as well, these bags are from Teaser Handmaids on Facebook. Taryn is an Australian bag maker with absolutely amazing bags and very, very reasonable pricing. You can get them in sets, so I usually get the bag, the nourishings pouch, and the Q-snap cover. And you can add on little zipper pull, which I like to do, because why not? Here's the next bag, sausage dogs. So my next category is large, and I don't know if anybody cares, but the way that I do my sizes, so I have a medium and a small category as well, I'll get the stitch dimensions, like however many wide by however many high, and I'll times them. And so if it's over 10,000, sorry, if it's below 10,000, it's a small. If it's over 10,000, but not 20,000, I think that's right, that's a medium, and then anything above 20,000 is a large, I think. That little bit is a bit of a grey area in my head right now, I can't remember. But definitely anything under 10,000 is a small. Okay, so my large is a Dimensions Gold collection piece called Aurora Cabin. This thing is a lot, and it also doesn't come out very much. But it has had a fair bit of progress, I will say. I'm using all of the kit fabric and floss. I don't really care. The fabric's not great, but it's whatever. I don't mind too much. So here it is currently. What I did first, when I first started this, is I worked from the middle to the top, bottom, left and right, so I knew that I have enough fabric, because I'd heard some people say that they didn't have enough fabric when they did Dimension Gold kits. I made sure that was okay. I don't know about the floss. I'm having thinking that maybe I'm going to run out of some, but hopefully I won't. We'll see. So the chart is pretty much one big sheet for each half. So this is a piece of paper and this is a piece of paper. What I've done is I've photocopied it, so I have a working copy, and then I've folded it in half. So I'm really only working on like the 1/4 at the moment, and then I'll go to the next quarter. So the main thing I've done is the background in the sky, which is mostly 6 strands. It's very thick. It's only half stitch though, so it's not too bad. But it's not my favourite stitching in the whole world to do, but I do it because it looks cool in the end. I have one other Dimensions kit in my stash, as in Dimensions Gold, and I don't know if I'll ever get another one. This tree is coming in here, and I had to do a bunch of purple for a prompt, so that's why there's heaps coming down here. Usually I would be doing typewriter with this one. It's pretty much full coverage. I think it is full coverage, but there's a lot of half stitches up in the sky. I think I decided that my goal would be to get a quarter done, and I think that will be reaching it by the end of the year. I don't know if I'll even get that done because it's a lot. Again, not a focus this year. I don't even know if it'll be next year. Might be the year after. We'll see. I'm not too fussed with that one. I have a lot of really cool large projects waiting though. That's the only thing. Like, I don't want to have too many going at a time, so I don't start another one until this one's finished. That's my only problem. But I have cool other sizes as well. This is the only bag, sorry, this is one of the only bags I have that is not a Taryn bag. This is one that I made myself, and it's just Velcro. And I'll never do it again because I don't like sewing. It's not my thing. So this is my medium piece, and it's by Little House Needleworks. It is, that'll do, Home of a Needleworker 2. and I really like this pattern. I'm using everything that's called for. My mum bought it for me for Christmas one year and she kitted it up with all of the called for. So I'm doing it exactly as is, which is classic colourworks. And the fabric is a 28 count antique ivory linen, courtesy of Northern Crafts. That's just what it says in the back. So when I started this, I didn't get a very amazing start. So I did some work on it last month. I actually might have been in January, and I'm really happy with where it is now. It's actually got a fair bit done, which was good because that roof is solid. That's where we are now. Happy with this. This will get done when it gets done. I like it though. This little bit here is the start of a letter in the writing. But yeah, I just do typewriter with this as well. Whatever comes next comes next. It breaks it up a bit, makes it a bit easier to work with. I'm pretty sure this is one that I've got on a floss ring. Yes, and these beautiful floss drops are from Ginger Stitch AU, who is Zane, who's one of my favourite people. Cover my face. How beautiful are they? So cute. They're all the flosses. That is my medium piece done. Alright, next up is my small piece. And this is another Taryn bag that she made out of some stitching that I did at the Mittagong Stitches Retreat in 2019. It's their logo. So I sent it up to her and she matched it up with some fabric and sent it back. This is a Country Cottage Needleworks piece and it's called Up, Up and Away. Very cute. I've had this for ages and I'm finally starting it. Let me have a look and see if I can find... I'm not sure what the fabric's called. I will have to figure that out. It's definitely a 32 count something. But here's my start so far. On this one I've finished one cloud and a balloon. I'm making a couple of substitutions for the threads because I wanted to use what I have already. So the blue is in here. And this is Week Style Works Capri, is the blue. The green is a Silks For You thread of the month from April 2018, it was a while ago. I'm also going to change the, where's the pattern? The orange in that big blue is going to be, I think it's Cantaloupe, which I think is another Week Style Works, but I'll get to that. They call for crescent colours and I don't have any of those, which is classic colourworks, isn't it? So yeah, I don't have any of those. I've only got a bunch of weeks and a bunch of Gentle Arts and some other random stuff, so I kind of just try and use what I have. So, but I really like the way that that's turned out. The green is used on another balloon. You pretty much do the same thing again, and then also the grass. And in the pattern it calls for 2 skeins of that green. So if I run out or get really close, I have another colour that's very similar to this. I can't remember who it's by though, so I'll just use that for the hill down the bottom. But yeah, the rest should be okay. It's a bit of white in it with those clowns, but that's alright. So I will work on that when that pops up. Again, I do like to finish the smalls relatively quickly because I have a lot and I want to get through them all. If that'll ever happen. But yes, it'll come up when it comes up. Okay, so they're all my size categories. My next category is my mat category. And if you are good at remembering, Matt's my husband. And he, a while ago, gifted me a bunch of charts at once. I think it was for an anniversary, I'm pretty sure. And he's gifted me a few over the years. So I put them all into a category and I wanted to work on them more frequently so he could see me working on them, I suppose. And I really like them, so why not? And the one, well, since I started doing that, I've only been working on this one because it's a full coverage. Of course it is. It's Grey Dragon and it's by Valenti Cross Stitch. I'm just having a look at it because I've recently done a lot on this for a prompt. I did 2012 stitches on this in February. It's a lot of work. So I think I've reached the 40-something% mark. I'm getting closer and closer to that coveted 50%. I'm stitching this on a piece of 18 count 8er I had, just in white, obviously with 2 threads, and here it is at the moment. So this has had quite a bit of work on it. The goal for this one is to finish it this year. I'm pretty over it. I'm not over it, I just want to see it done so I can move on to some more of his patterns he's given me. So in February I worked mainly in this section because that's where my Q-snap was, and I did 2,000 stitches. But before that it's been pretty even across. So next time it comes up, which I think is today actually, I'm going to work over this side because it's the next bit that needs to be done. Very exciting. We've got dragon head up in here, that's its ear I think, there's its eye, and its snout comes down here. I've also been able to put in, if you can see there, some red, which is cool because it's mostly grey. Obviously it's called grey dragon, and its eye will have some more oranges and red in it too, just kind of like up here. There'll also be red in this bit here, like the background for the actual dragon is red, and then there'll be all of this copied down here. It's exactly the same. So that's pretty cool. It actually does stitch up quite quickly, like I get a fair bit of stitches done each day on this when I work on it, which is great. So I am focusing on this one as much as possible when it works for the prompts that I'm doing. Okay, my second last category, used to be my last, but it's my second last, is my special category. And that's for things like gifts and special pieces that don't really fit into anything else. So my last special piece was that temperature tree. I call that a special piece. The one I'm about to show you is a baby sampler for my niece or nephew that's going to be born within the next couple of weeks, which is very exciting. And this is the Mountain Baby Sampler. I think it's by Stitches Lover Shop or Oh My Stitches. I can't remember who it's by, unfortunately. So a few years ago, they had their first child. She was a girl. And so what I did was I sent, she's my sister-in-law, I sent her other baby samplers in the same style from the same shop, and she chose this one. I had to make some adjustments because of the size. I wanted them to be very similar sizing, and this one was a lot bigger than the other one. So I'll explain that as I show you. It's being stitched on a piece of 32 count Murano, I think, from Sparklies. It was a fabric in the month, so it doesn't have a name, 2/2. So this is as much as I can do. I have to wait now until Bubs is born, and then I can put the name here and the details. So in the original chart, there was another set of mountains, not that big, but it came across the whole width. There was also 2 arrows per line instead of just 1. I've also cut off a couple of dots either side here so I could get the width down. The length was pretty much sorted when I cut off those mountains. It was just the width. So I think it looks pretty good as it is. So yeah, I'll put in the rest when baby's born and get that off to the framers. Yeah, and I like it because they don't find out what they're having. So it's a good, like, gender neutral, like it doesn't scream boy or girl, like it's just gender neutral. So the way that I did it last time is when she was born and we found out she was a girl, I used more of the reds and pinks for her name, and I think some yellows. If, like, I would probably choose from the same, I think their name was in black, but the details were in colours. So I'll probably do the same thing. I'll just choose from what they've got there. I'm going to use the same alphabet as the last one. I don't know if there's any size difference, but I just want to make sure it's exactly the same. So I'll do that. Hopefully it's not a super long name because the last baby, their first name, had a lot of letters. So it took me a little bit longer than it normally would have, but that's okay. I will love that baby no matter what. Very cute. Can't wait for a baby cuddle. It's been a long time. All right. And then my last category, which I don't usually have, but I couldn't help myself, is a cell. So I'm doing a cell this year. It's only 8 parts, so it'll finish up in August. This is the Farming Magic cell by Flossie Fox shop on Etsy. I won't bother putting in a picture because it's a mystery and we don't know what it's going to look like. Again, I'm stitching this on a piece of fabric I don't know the name of. It's not very helpful, is it? I just don't keep track of it well enough unless it's in my handy dandy book. Nope, it just says mystery fabric. Awesome. It's a 32 count, 2/2. It's a orange, yellow, beautiful colour. Let me just get some threads out of the way. So we started in the bottom left, which is very unusual. I'm not used to doing that at all, but I was happy with that. Here we are. So the first part was up until the fence, so I finished that. I haven't quite finished the second part, and I'll explain that in a minute, but that was the fence, all of this part, and there's a little bit up here to do. It's very cute, and if you've played Stardew, it's massive Stardew vibes, and I love it. It's very gorgeous. So I'm assuming that part, the next part has come out, is sitting in my emails, or it's coming out today or tomorrow. So I'll be able to start that when it gets called up. Again, this piece of fabric seems really big, so we should be right. I might have some extra. It's a very, very cute fabric. I think it might be a Chromatic Alchemy one. I think Adele gave it to me, but I can't be too sure. So that's that. Let's really quickly do my haul because there's not much, and I'm not showing you everything I purchased ever since I've been away. I think I've got 3 things to show you. And then I'll tell you about my plans for the year and what's going on. So I went to Spotlight for something, and then I came out with stuff I didn't need, which is pretty normal. And I found these 2 kits for $7 each. This one's an embroidery kit. It's very cute. I have an embroidery kit, but it's really hard because I picked a really hard one. And so this one seems a bit nicer. So that'll get done whenever it gets done. And this is a cross stitch one. I thought it was just really silly. Bit of a silly little friend. Happy with that. Comes with everything you need, and my daughter ripped it open. Of course she did. $7, can't go wrong. And then I went there with my husband. He said, oh, I really like that. So I got this. It is a Dimensions kit, but it's not a Dimensions Gold kit. Big difference. And this is called Feasting Frenzy. It's got 18 count Ada, which is great. Very cute. It will get done whenever it gets done. This is not part of the matte category because it didn't buy it for me, but I'm assuming it'll be a large. I haven't checked the stitch count yet. I haven't opened it up. See, not much haul at all. Amazing. Let's do some plans. So, like I said, I'm doing the Phantom Stitching Central group. I am in Team Dwarves. And if you don't know, they have weekly tasks, monthly tasks, and year-long tasks. I can't say that word anymore. It's based on all of the Lord of the Rings books and movies. So we're on to the 2nd Hobbit movie, and we'll do the 3rd next month. The book was the start of the year. That's when we did that one. I'm also doing the reading challenges, but I'll get into that a little bit later. So my main goals, I guess, for the year are to finish the Grey Dragon and to also finish the cell. They're the 2 things I have to get done. Anything else is an exciting little bonus, I suppose. So the yearly sale that they have going on, or the yearly challenge, you can double dip with the monthlies. So what my piece that I'm doing for the yearly is the sale, the farming magic sale. So I do that as much as I can for the monthlies and try and finish off the part in that month. If I can't, it's okay. I'll get it done eventually. And so because that won't take me across the whole year, and it won't finish that yearly challenge, because that's like 30, I think it's 30 locations and 3,000 stitches per location. So that's not going to give me enough stitches. So what I'll do is when I finish the sale, I'll move on to the Grey Dragon as my yearly sale piece, yearly challenge piece. So I focus on the Grey Dragon and the farming magic sale in the monthlies as much as I can, and then everything else is just thrown in there. I was doing a lot on the baby sampler, but because that's finished as much as I can now, I just moved on to something else. I will be starting something to replace the sampler. I just don't know 100% what I'm going to do. I need to still do a wedding sampler for myself and Matt, but I can't decide on one and he's not being very helpful. So I need to try and pick one. The one I had picked wasn't a sampler at all. It was a little cross stitch of some otters. That was beautiful. But the shops disappeared online. I had it bookmarked and now it's not there anymore. So I can't get that one, which is a bit sad. I was just going to put our information underneath, but I'll have to find something similar or something completely different. I don't know. So I would like to start that. I need to start that soon to replace that one. So this month, I'm just getting my phone because I need a picture in my head. So this month we're doing March Madness in the group, which is the bracket thing. It's like an American football thing, and like I get it, but I don't participate in it for sport. So pretty much your whips go against each other, whatever you want to do. There's a few different ways to do it because I don't have, because you do it to the first bracket is 16 and then it goes down to 8 and then 4 and then 1. I think that's right. 8, 4, sorry, 2 and then 1. I should say it like that. So you needed 16 to start with, and I obviously don't have 16 whips, so I put everything in there twice and then the grey dragon and the farming cell 3 times because I needed an extra 2. So yesterday, for example, I stitched on Up, Up and Away, the balloons, and today I'll stitch on Grey Dragon. Whichever one had the most stitches progresses, the other one gets kicked out, except I'm working on it again anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I can pretty much tell you that yesterday I worked on my small, today I'll work on the dragon, tomorrow I'll work on that new start, so I actually need to figure that out today, and that's actually pretty good because I have a day off tomorrow. The next day, on the 4th, I'll work on Aurora Cabin. On the 5th, I'll work on my Haid. On the 6th, I'll work on the Farming Magic Cell. And on the 7th, I'll work on Home of a Needleworker. Then it kind of starts again, but I just random number generated it. So on the 8th, I'll work on my start. The 9th, I'll work on my Haid. The 10th, I'll work on the Cell. The 11th, I'll work on the Aurora Cabin. The 12th, I'll work on Grey Dragon. The 13th, I'll work on Up, Up and Away. The 14th, I'll work on Home of a Needleworker. Then this is where I did the 2 extra ones for the 15th and 16th, the Cell and the Grey Dragon. Apart from that, I don't know what I'm doing this month because it depends on who wins each bracket for what happens. So 17, 18, 19, well, that's written incorrectly, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. They're the days that I'll work on the winners, and then it goes down progressively until day 31, you work on the overall winner. That's it. They're also doing weekly prompts within this month, so I'm trying to work on those at the same time with that piece. It just depends on if it works or not. I might need to do some penalty stitches on those days. So that's March. So I'm pretty much working on, in a normal month, I'm working on the weeklies. I prioritize them first. Then I do monthlies, go back and forth. If I get to the point, which is a miracle, that I've done all the weeklies, I've done all the monthlies, then I will just work on the Cell for the yearly stuff, but that hasn't happened yet. So that's what I'm doing. So overall goals are to finish the Cell and Grey Dragon and then have some finishes scattered in between pretty much. Progress on my bigger pieces is great, but not necessarily having to finish those. Pretty crazy. So I suppose I would like to talk about a couple other things while I'm here, some other crafting and books. If you're not interested in those, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. So this year I have picked up reading again for the first time since high school. I've been reading before bed only. It's the only time I really get, and it's awesome. So I've read, I use the app Storygraph, which is really good. I really like that app. I like the data it gives you. It's really interesting to see what you lean towards. It's nice. I'm just going to see what I've read recently because I can't remember. I have read 5 books so far this year, and I'll tell you why it's not many. So I read The Hobbit in January for the Fandom Stitching Central group. Then I read Ahsoka, which is a Star Wars novel, which is incredible if you're a Star Wars fan. I highly recommend it. Ahsoka's my favourite Star Wars character, and Matt had given that to me, and I think I started it a little bit, but not much. Then I read Twice in a Blue Moon by Christina Lauren. It's like a contemporary romance novel. It was good. Like I really enjoyed reading it. It was a bit predictable, but that's okay. Sometimes you just need that. And I liked it. I'm a sucker for a romance, particularly a historical romance. Holy moly. And you'll see that come through in a minute. I love a historical romance, and I know what it makes me seem like, but I really like it. So recommend your romance books, please. Love that stuff. Then this is still in January. Then I read It's in His Kiss by Julia Quinn. It's the 7th Bridgerton novel. That's where I'm up to so far. I think I was partway through that one. I hadn't quite finished it, so I finished it off. Love Bridgerton so much. Then this is where it all slows down. In February, we had to read the unfinished tales of, I don't even know how to say it, Numenor and Middle-earth by Tolkien. Now, this is a book that his son compiled based off his writings that weren't finished. Really interesting historically in terms of understanding a bit more about the lore, I guess, of Lord of the Rings. I did find it very, very difficult to read though. Not because of the content, that's whatever, but it really heavily reminded me of the Old Testament of the Bible, which is interesting and historically interesting, but it is hard to read. It's just hard to read. And I really found that with this book. It took me from the 1st of February to the 21st. And I'm a fast reader. I just am. I don't know why. I can just read fast. I can absorb stuff. It's just how I am. I'm a fast reader. I'm not fast in many things, but reading is one of them. And it took me 21 days. It took me 3 weeks. 3 weeks? Yep, 3 weeks to read that book, which is a lot for me. It was 400 and something pages, and it was a fair bit. And I didn't skip over the content from Tolkien himself, but some of the notes, like the footnotes that were explained, I didn't feel like it would have made more sense for me to flip through, read it at the time, than read it after the chapter, but I didn't like splitting that up because I was already finding it so hard to concentrate on what Tolkien had written, let alone what his son had. So I kind of just picked and chose what I went and flipped back to have a look at or not. So that was a tricky book. This month we're reading The Children of Hurin. I don't know how to say it. It's another Tolkien book, similar kind of theme, I think. I think it will still be another tricky book. I couldn't get that. I have a Kobo. It's the Clara 2E. I got it for my birthday. I had another Kobo, but it was like 12 years old, so I'm pretty happy to have this one. And you can borrow library books from the Kobo, but I couldn't get this one, so I've asked the library to get it from one of their branches that is a bit far away for me. So when that comes in, I'll start reading it. At the moment, in the meantime, I am reading Dragonfly in Amber, which is the second Outlander novel, and that's by Donna Gabaldon. I hope I'm saying that right too. I have had this sitting. There's my dog. Oi, where are you going? Skippy. She's going to go sit on my bed. This has been not finished for a while, so I'm hoping to finish it before this other book comes in. I'm on part 5. I've just started part 5 and there's 7 parts, so should be almost done. So that will get read. Another historical romance. I like it though. I like Outlander a lot. I have a wish list a mile long to read. I was very lucky to receive a couple of gift cards for Kobo as well, so I can buy some ebooks. I'm also trying to borrow as much as possible from my library as well, because why not? It's there, may as well use it. So I'll keep you up to date with books that I'm reading. I'm not going to like critically go into my thoughts about it or anything. I'll just kind of give you a quick review, like a yes or no, unless it like really enthralls me. Then I'll tell you a bit more about it. The last section of the video is about a craft that I've taught myself, which is crochet. I taught myself crochet. I tried to teach myself crochet, I think in 2020. Or it might have been 2019, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Then recently I've been thinking about it a lot, and I found some tutorial videos by Bella Coco. They're amazing. If you ever want to learn how to crochet, use those videos. They're incredible. The way she goes through each stitch is really, really easy to understand. So I'm going to show you my first project that's not quite finished. Apart from my little bits and pieces that I've done to teach myself stitches, like I've done some like squares and rectangles of stitches. I've done like a heart. Started a bookmark and didn't like it, so I didn't finish that. And I'm not asking for you to critique my work or give me pointers or anything. This is my first project, so I know it's not great and it's not quite finished yet. The actual crochet part is done, but I haven't finished putting it together. So this is it. What is that? It's actually going to be a beanie for Lil. So what I've done is I have put it together. My next step is to sew this part and pull it tight, and then it becomes a beanie, pretty much. I was going to make it for me, but I've got a massive head and I can't be bothered, and I really wanted to move on. It was the same stitches over and over again, which is fine. It was really good, but I'm too excited about crochet to keep doing that. So I'm really excited to finish this off. I just need to get one of those. Oh, there's a wasp that's on my door. That's great. One of those darning needles, so I can put that all together. So that's my plan when I next get to Spotlight. And then that'll be finished. This will fold up and it will fit her head nicely. And it's got a nice bit of stretch in it, so it'll be good for winter because her head's going to grow more. So yes, that's my first little project. I did this with a 6mm crochet hook. And I don't remember what the yarn is, but I think it's an 8-ply. I'm not sure. It's nice though, nice and soft. Let me show you what my next thing is. I haven't started it yet, and you'll see why in a second. So my sister is doing a lot of decluttering, and she was like, hey, I've got some yarn. Do you want some for your crochet? I was like, absolutely. So I took some. And one of them was this beautiful skein of variegated yarn. I was like, yep, like look at this. It's just like beautiful colors. Please don't yell at me. I don't know what I did, but it's all a mess, and that's okay. I've actually really therapeutically enjoyed the process of balling it up. So I actually, like, this looks like a lot, but it's not compared to how much it used to be. So a few more nights of that and I'll have it ready to go. What I'm going to be doing is making a cowl, a free cowl that I found on Ravelry, because I'm on that now, which will give me some more experience with some different stitches. It's I think it's 4-ply, so I'm going to be using a 3mm crochet hook as per recommendations. I'm going to do that. A couple of the projects I'd like to do would be something that helps me practice my colour changing, because I like to practice going from one colour to another. I want to make myself a crochet long sleeve cropped sweater thing that I can wear over dresses for winter, like autumn into winter, because I have one that I bought ages ago that I really love, so I found one that's really similar that I can make it myself. So I'm going to do that just in black. I would like to make a blanket for when we go camping, because I keep getting cold, so I'd like to make myself one. I'll probably do like a granny square blanket. Actually, I have one that Stitching Fleur recommended to me on Instagram. Now, where is that? Because it's really cool, because you can, you don't have to make the squares and then put them together. You just do it. It's really cool. It's the Aria blanket. How cool is that? So I'm really going to do that or something really similar to it for when we go camping. But yes, crochet is a new craft. I've pretty much figured out in my day I can only do cross stitch when Lily is asleep, because it's too hard to get up and down with her when I'm cross stitching, and it's not safe if she comes over to me. I can do crochet while she's awake, because I feel like I can stop that a bit easier. Sometimes my counting gets messed up, that's okay. But at the moment I'm just unwinding and fixing this, so it's not that hard. And I'm reading before bed. So I really like how my creative, crafty side of everything is going at the moment. Really excited with what I've been able to achieve so far this year and what will be to come. And I think that's about it. In terms of my videos, I do have a little bit more time than I used to, but I don't think I've got enough content to make it any more than monthly. I may end up doing it bi-weekly if I want to make shorter videos. I'll just have to see what I would prefer. I suppose I could in March because I'm doing something different every day, but we'll have to see how it goes. But thank you very much for getting through the whole video if you have. I really appreciate you coming back and checking in with me or popping in if you're new. And hopefully I will see you guys at the end of March or the start of April. Bye!